Good morning, Fulham fans. How is everybody doing? Recovered from that absolute snooze fest last night as Fulham fell victim to a very organised but otherwise quite uninspiring Aston Villa and probably the most boring game of the season so far. I'm pretty sure that's the most boring game of the season so far. Fulham just mustering a single shot on target the entire game. Zero. No, it wasn't even a shot on target. It was just one shot. And that came after 19 seconds. And then I think we had to wait until 97 minutes for the second. I mean, I feel really, really sorry for the supporters that travelled up to watch that. I really do. And I think it's very important to distinguish. I don't think it came from lack of effort. It was just lack of plan and lack of attacking threat. And we really, really, really missed some key attacking players there. Obviously, Mitrovic goes without saying. But to lose Willian in the warm-up before the game to a hamstring injury, I hope to God that that's not too serious. But then to also lose Harry Wilson 17 minutes into the match, those two players undoubtedly provided the most attacking potent attacking options from our previous two games against Everton and Leeds. Yeah, we've got here, not sure, not enough heart, broski. Couldn't agree more. Mitro's a bully. We need the bully boy back. We really do. We look like kind of under 14s up front last night. Do you know what I mean? Just we had Solomon, BDR, and Dan James up front. I think if you were to sort of add up their heights, could you get a smaller front three? I think that's got to be the smallest height-wise and stature-wise front three in the league, and we just couldn't get through. Yeah, it was a shame. I mean, obviously, our two best players are off the pitch, so it's always gonna set you off on the back foot. But I mean, it's our fifth defeat in the last 7 games, 6 and 8 across all competitions. I feel like that defeat 100% gets rid of any European shout. I mean, Villa, obviously we're in very, very good form, incredibly organised. Met our 4-4-2 mid-block with the same, except did it better. They were viewing this game as a must-win yesterday, and you could hear. I was watching on telly. You could hear the atmosphere from Villa Park, and it was all Villa, and that's no slight on up our travelling supporters. You could hear us as well piping up, but you could tell it seemed like they were really, really up for it. And this team are kind of on the ascendancy, doing incredibly well, and yeah, they're really, really in with a chance to get this Europe League under the run. I just want to talk about Tyrone Mings' goal, which came in about 20 minutes. And you can see the defensive tactic that Fulham have adopted through a large part of the season, which is they push off from the goal line as a unit as the corner's taken. Now, this obviously plays an advantage if the ball's flicked on, because quite often offsides are given. However, when you get a big centre-back like Tyrone Mings who manages to flick a ball on, you do run the risk of not having anyone on the back post. Now, there are probably countless times where this has gone in our favour throughout the season, but yesterday I just noticed that it did seem like, we haven't got anyone on the back post. It's not the way we defend, but it's, you leave yourself open. And then just nothing happened. That's the thing. It wasn't as if Aston Villa were just, pummeling us. They had loads of chances. They had the odd shot, but they just got that goal and just were incredibly well organised defensively. And Fulham offered absolutely nothing going forward. One thing I thought was interesting, we had Reed and Pereira who operated as two fixed number 8s. And then João Paulino was just sat back as a single pivot. Didn't really offer an awful lot, I don't think. There was an awful lot of dynamism. I thought Reed, although he, tried and he ran around like a headless chicken as he always does, not headless chicken, but ran around tirelessly. I think our system works a lot better as a sort of double pivot. I thought Tosin was comfortably our best player. I think that's the one positive that we can take from last night is just how well he's playing at the moment. He seems like a really just really solid, calm presence that we kind of needed. Defended really well in the one-on-one scenarios. He had the unenviable task of ensuring that Ollie Watkins was kept at bay, and he did that with aplomb. But I just want to talk about the Manor Solomon situation, because from an outside perspective, it seems that he's not Marco's first choice winger, right? But I question, if we were currently going for Europe or fighting relegation, I'd be really interested to see whether Malan Solomon was playing in those scenarios. And I think that it's a very unfortunate and unusual position that we found ourselves in, where I think what could be happening is, as Solomon's not committed to his future long term next season, Marco is thinking, well, obviously I'm going to be playing people who are going to be part of my plans. Why would I give a player minutes who's, we've got nothing to play for here. So he's kind of become this kind of luxury player. And I do think he's best coming off the bench and running at sort of slightly tired defensive legs. But when he starts, I just feel he lacks that extra yards. And we get the best of him when he's coming on at around the sort of 65th minute. But yeah, it was a real shame yesterday. As I said, I felt very sorry for the players, for the travelling supporters who went up. We've got a comment here from Darius. Try Lukic as the 10. I mean, could happen. Yeah, I'm not sure whether that's his preferred position or whether he's played that position in other for other teams that he's played for. But I mean, I'm all for giving it a go. Why not? Well, we've got to lose at this point of the season, we've got nothing really to play for. We might as well try anything, fuck it. Try Reed at 10. Let's see how that goes. Gary Cooper here said Ream wasn't even watching the ball when he decided to look. It was too late, and he was always going to be second best. I'm assuming this is for the goal. I mean, yeah, it was just one of those. When you have people the size of Tyrone Mings in the box, it's always going to be tricky to defend. I just think that the way that we should view the remainder of the season is, I mean, like 5 losses from 7 will always be seen as a missed opportunity for European football. But there are questions over our lack of squad depth. That's undeniable. We only need to have a few players missing, and then all of a sudden we are just a completely different team. And I feel like there's a slight inability to revert to a plan B when you've got the sort of Mitro up top, Pereira to Mitro, William to Mitro. That's potent enough that we can just overpower teams. Fulham have got to where we are this season, and it has been a brilliant season, and I can't understate how proud I am of this team. But Fulham have got to where they are from that combination. We've got an incredibly strong central forward, and we can get good delivery to him, and he can put them away, and we can overpower teams. We haven't got to where we are due to being unpredictable and having all of these different tactical avenues that we can go down. And this run is proving that. Now, the positive that we can take from that is at least we now identify it in a situation where there's not really anything to play for. So we can start preparing to counteract that. And Marcus said that in a few press conferences that he's had recently, where he said we need to invest big over the summer. So I'm expecting a very, very big spending spree from Fulham this off season, which is exciting, right? Yeah, but better we identify these sort of problems now than Christmas time next season and we're in a bothersome situation. Yeah, we've got loads of comments here. Thank you very much for everyone who's getting involved. Ashley Mayhew with a astute observation. John McGuinness, the tiniest eyes. Yeah, small eyes like a crab. But he did play well yesterday, I have to say. With a big spree, we have to let some go too. Yep, that is true. Absolutely, to free up some of the FFP and also the wage bills. I mean, I don't I don't want to come on here and say I think we should be letting these people go, but I think there's undeniably players in the squad that are passengers a little bit. I mean, it's tough though, isn't it? Because a player like Vinicius, for example, new in the squad, he's obviously a big character in the dressing room, and people love having him around. And I think there is genuinely potential there. However, it is not. It's just not working. It's not clicking. And I think Marco needs to potentially or think about if he is going to double down and use Vinicius as our second striker, adapting the system to one that suits his strengths. Because even yesterday we saw when um, Vinicius came on, we were still lumping long balls up to him. We were still putting the ball in. His strength is not as an aerial presence in the box. It's with the link-up play. It's holding the ball up to his feet and playing our quick players through the channels. So yeah, it was a very frustrating game. It was just so boring, man. Like never there was a brief spell of about 15 minutes where we had a lot of the ball that we're thinking, come on, and we obviously had that disallowed goal from Harrison Reed that I was cheering my head off there, but it was quite comfortably about half a mile offside. But other than that, just I'm back to that feeling after those. We had those really two impressive wins at Everton and Leeds. Thinking, yes, Fulham are back. We've got our swagger back. And then, yeah, just kind of back ground to a halt again. But anyway, it's another comment from Ashley. Luke Harris in for the last few games, in the same way we introduced Cav a couple of years ago. Yeah, why not? As I said, got nothing to lose. I think, as I said, I think it's quite clear that Marco is a bit apprehensive to start Manor Solomon for reasons that he may not be part of the plans. But why not blood in a few of the youngsters? Yeah, get Luke Harris in, experiment. Do some. As I said, we've got nothing to lose here until Mitro's back on the Southampton game, and then I suspect that we'll revert back to a lot more of the side that we've seen for most of the season. But for these coming games, we've got Manchester City next. I mean, just do whatever we want there. Liverpool away, again, really tough game, but I think Liverpool could be get at. I think that could be a game that we can afford to be a little bit kind of play a bit of a wild card, be a bit unpredictable. Solomon up top, I don't know. And then we've got Leicester, who are obviously struggling in Southampton, but they'll both be absolutely fighting for their lives. There's no easy games left. We've got 6 matches. Let's just see what happens. Throw some wild cards, practice some new systems. But yeah. Anyway, I'm gonna leave it at that. Thursday Club is back. They're going to be recording today. So if you've got any questions, do get in touch with us on Twitter. And finally, if you fancy coming to the Fulhamish Live, which is on Monday, the 8th of May, Bank Holiday Monday after the Leicester game, come along. The tickets are available either by the Fulhamish website or by the Half Moon, which is where it will be. Just a short walk over from Craven Cottage. It's going to be really good fun. We're going to be covering everything that happened in the game. Gonna have some special guests and just reflecting on what has been a brilliant season. That's the main reason we want to do it, is just raise a glass and think, we made it. We've got Premier League football next year. So come along, it'll be really good fun. We did one last year, which was a right laugh. And hope to see some friendly faces there. Anyway, I'll be back very soon. Thursday Club tomorrow. Until then, have a great time. Safe travels to all of those going up to Manchester. All the best. You heights.